Get started. Hi, everyone. Sure, I'm not standing in front of the projector. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Alex Bowen-Coots. I'm the executive director at ACE MV, which is the adult community education nonprofit here on the island. We at ACE, we wear a number of different hats, and you may know some of them, and you may be hearing about some of them for the first time tonight. So we offer some of our own programming, and we often partner with community colleges to offer that programming. You'll hear about some of those programs tonight. Another role that we like to play in the community is to connect students, whether those are young adult students or returning adult students, to our community college partners. And particularly when there are some exciting developments, either new programs or new funding opportunities for students. So that's sort of what's bringing us here tonight. We are very excited to welcome our partners from Bristol Community College and from 4Cs, Cape Cod Community College, and especially Nate McKinnon, who you'll be hearing from, who's here with us from the Massachusetts Association of Community Colleges. I'm going to introduce Nate a little bit, and he's going to introduce the rest. These folks are going to do a short presentation for you about some new funding opportunities and some programming stuff in general. And then we'll have a period for question and answer after that. So let's see, we have Nate here. He's the ED of we call that MAC. Is that our shorthand? It's called MAC. He works on behalf of all 15 Massachusetts community college presidents and their local boards of trustees to strengthen community colleges for the benefit of students. He's a graduate of Northeastern and received his master's from Harvard University, which I've heard of. I hear that's nice. Welcome, Nate. Thank you so much, and yes, welcome to you.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. How are you? Come on now. Good evening.
Good evening.
You took a vote to be here. I'm excited to see you all. Thank you so much for having us. My name's Nate McKinnon, as Alex said, and thank you to Alex and to Garrett and the ACE MV team for having us out here. We're so excited to be here with you to talk about community colleges. Tonight's presentation, I will talk a bit about community colleges broadly, and then I'll talk to you about two particular programs that are really important right now. One is called MassReconnect, and the other is tuition equity. You may have heard about either of those in the news, more so back in the summer, but they're still very much in play and really important for everyone in the Commonwealth to know. And so we want to make sure that we talk directly to you about it here on the island as well. And then after I speak, we'll hear from first we'll hear from Sheila from Cape Cod Community College, talking to you about what's going on at 4C, some of the programs that are available there, modalities available, et cetera, for students who might want to engage with the college at 4Cs. And then we'll hear from the team at Bristol Community College. We'll hear from Vinny and Mary, who will talk to you about what's happening at Bristol Community College, including a particular partnership here with ACE MV of the island. And then we'll be glad to open up for questions. So that's what we're going to cover today. And if you do have questions as we go along, please don't be shy about raising your hand and asking if something's unclear while I'm going through it. Happy to do so. Also, please don't be shy about grabbing some more pizza or some sparkling water over there. There's way too much there, so and I'm going to keep eating more if people don't. So, okay, so we'll dive right in. Let's first of all talk about the 15 community colleges. I guess it's not the arrow button, Garrett.
Should be.
Down arrow, right arrow,
right arrow.
Oh, I think I'm in a text box. There we go. Hold on, I got it. Boom. Okay. So here in the beautiful Commonwealth, we have 15 community colleges. Those were the pictures of various places on the previous one. This is what we essentially call in general service areas. I want to be clear that there are no real service areas in Massachusetts. Our community colleges, students can go to and work with whatever community college they want to in the Commonwealth. And we have a lot of students who cross areas and work with different colleges. But in general, this is the service area map that we have. So tonight we're hearing particularly from folks at Bristol Community College as well as Cape Cod Community College. But if you go into Boston, we have right in the Metro Boston area, 4 community colleges that serve that general area, and students move around and go between them, et cetera. So a lot of our programming at different community colleges is also online, especially since the pandemic. So we have students all around the state engaging with different community colleges that are nowhere near their house, just the way they would with other institutions of higher education. What's different about community colleges than a four-year institution? Well, for starters, we're open enrollment institutions. We don't have a high stakes test you have to take. We don't have any, long admissions process, et cetera. We serve anybody who comes to us. And to get into a community college, you essentially just need to have a high school diploma or an equivalency. And if you don't have a high school diploma or an equivalency, we'll help you get that too. And I know ACE MV does a lot of work in that space too. So we will help with GED and high set for individuals who don't, and then immediately help them get right into college level coursework. All our colleges are engaged in that space, but that's it. You just need a high school diploma or an equivalency, which is GED or high set. There's no application fees. There's a range of start dates throughout the semesters. We have very flexible scheduling. 2/3 of the students who go to Massachusetts community colleges attend part-time, and a big portion of those students attend in the evening. So our courses are when our students need them. They are not like a traditional four-year institution where Monday through Thursday between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. is when most things are offered, and then that's it. We have faculty who teach only at night. We have faculty who teach day and night, weekends, online, etc. We're very flexible because of who we serve and the needs of the students coming to us. We offer courses in person. We offer courses online. We offer hybrid. You'll hear a bit about those tonight, what those options are from Bristol and from Cape Cod. We also have a lot of supports for the success of our students. Our staff are available to support with everything from starting with application and registration. That's the team of people I think that are here tonight are the people who are at our colleges, who students would engage with from that perspective. And then also academic advising and tutoring as well. Hi, come on in. Are you here for the presentation? Excited to have you. Thank you so much. We also have wraparound support student services and take care of things like student basic needs. A lot of our students are food insecure, are housing insecure, and we have people at our colleges who act very much like caseworkers to try and ensure we connect our students with services they may be eligible for, whether that's SNAP benefits or something more complex. The wraparound supports we offer through the Success Program at our colleges are really important and have grown dramatically in the past several years and are really there to be direct, intrusive advising. What that means is it's very intentional, it's very proactive. It's not a passive environment that requires a student to necessarily take all of the steps to meet with an advisor. Our teams are reaching out, directly connecting with students, asking them how it's going. What's your plan for studying? What's going on next week? How's homework going? What's going on in your life? Things like that, to make sure that our students stay on track and can work their way towards the credential that they came to get, whether that's a certificate or an associate's degree. Speaking of certificates or associate's degree, that's our primary credential. Community colleges, Massachusetts offer up to the 2-year degree, which is the associate degree. In some programs, that's terminal, and that's as high as you can go. That's more of our technical programs, including some of our health fields, for example. I have a sister who works as a ultrasound technician who got her associate's degree, which is the only real goal in that field, is to get that level of certification and be able to do ultrasound and work as a sonographer. Certificates are also available. Most of our certificates stack to an associate degree of some kind, very much what we call stackable credentials that can move up. Our programs vary by school to school. You'll hear about some of those tonight for Bristol and the 4 Cs. And some programs are more specialized across the state. But all schools offer a range of similar programs, such as nursing, healthcare, business, accounting. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The basic liberal arts cores of courses. And the most important thing to know is that a lot of our students who come to us, they don't necessarily want a degree in a particular field when they first get there, but we often help them figure out what that pathway might be for them. The other thing is that our degrees are transferable to a 4-year institution. And that's really important because many of our students come to us for what is ultimately the most affordable way to get a bachelor's degree in the United States of America, is to start at your local community college, complete an associate's degree, and then transfer to a public 4-year institution. And in a bit, we'll talk about how that cost goes down even further for certain populations here in Massachusetts. But to me, that's really important to understand that the transferability of our programs through something called mass transfer, and I think you'll hear about that as well tonight, is the primary goal for a lot of our students. Is they know they want to get a bachelor's degree. They don't yet want to necessarily start at a 4-year institution for many reasons. That could be money, fiscally. That could be where the offerings are and where they are and where they want to be physically. That could be just being nervous. Could also be not getting in and having a poor academic record as a young person and not meeting the admission standards. So those students can come to our colleges and for any of those reasons, and they do, and basically use that as an opportunity to get their first 2 years, the most affordable pathway, and then transfer in as a junior at a public four-year or a private four-year institution. Another thing I want to mention is that life experience counts at our colleges. We use something that's called credit for prior learning, where we essentially look at the skills that individuals might have. So I'd take, for example, if you were a CNA, a certified nursing assistant, which is typically a non-credit program that all of our colleges offer, and you wanted to go back to become a licensed practical nurse. We would look at that and see what skills you have from having the CNA certification and be able to provide certain credits towards the LPN. So you're not redoubling down on the same things you've already learned or been able to show. We also have prior learning assessments in certain fields where we can have you take it and see what you do already know, whether you've worked in the industry. An example might be early education care. Someone who's worked in an EEC environment as a child care provider, but never had any type of formal training or degree, might be able to show that they have certain competencies, and we can provide college credit for that. We also look at military service and professional certifications and skills. So, hi there, how are you?
Hi, good. Hi.
Come on in.
A bit late.
That's okay. Please have a seat anywhere. And there's pizza and there's soda. So
I appreciate it.
yeah, we haven't gotten to the good part yet.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
Anywhere?
just in time. Yeah. Oh yeah, Garrett's. Yeah. Here you go. Yeah.
If you guys want to sit together.
Terrific. Thank you so much. So if you want to learn more about the community colleges in general, you can go to our website, masscc.org. Talks about each of our colleges, also links to each of the colleges and so on. Also, my contact information is on there. So that's the community colleges in general. Let's quickly dive into, if we can, MassReconnect. MassReconnect is a new program that was announced this year by Governor Maura Healey in her first year. In fact, she first came up with the idea last year when she was a candidate and said, if I'm elected governor, I'll create a program called MassReconnect that will make it so that every adult can go to community college for free if they don't already have a degree. She campaigned on that. She talked about it in a debate. She won the election, and on the day she got inaugurated, she said, I'm doing it, because I said I was doing it. And then on the day she released her budget, it was in her budget, and she announced her budget that day at Bunker Hill Community College in Boston, surrounded by community college presidents, including some students from Cape Cod Community College and other places, to talk about what this would mean for them. So what is it? Well, the first year, it's a $20 million investment, and it basically recognizes that almost 2 million Massachusetts residents over the age of 25 do not have a college degree. And its first year, MassReconnect can support up to 8,000 students across the Commonwealth, accessing education and skills necessary to advance careers and bolster the state's workforce, better prepare Massachusetts residents to meet the growing needs of employers and emerging industries. So what is MassReconnect? It is free community college for any adult age 25 and older in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts who does not already have a degree and takes at least 2 courses at a time and completes a FAFSA. And we'll go over all that in a second, but I'm going to say that again. For anyone who does not have a degree, who is 25 years older, lives in Massachusetts, they can go to a community college for free. This is a game changer for our state. This is huge. We always recognize ourselves as the most educated state in the nation because we have the highest percentage of adults who have bachelor's degrees in Massachusetts, more so than any other state. And if you had graduate degrees in there, we even go even further. But the reality is that that total percentage of our adult population is just above 50%. And that makes us the most educated in the United States. But that means that just under 50% do not have a bachelor's degree. That's what MassReconnect is all about. That's the population of folks that we want to get to. And if that describes you or anyone you know, then this is available to you as an opportunity to be able to take advantage of it right now at any of the 15 community colleges, including Cape Cod Community College and Bristol Community College. In addition to covering tuition and fees all tuition fees that are mandatory for being a student. We also provide a stipend for books and supplies, and that's $600 a semester for full-time and $300 for part-time. So basically, that's money back to students to cover the cost that books and supplies have at our community colleges. The award for this program happens right at the college. There is no separate office that one goes to or state agency or anything like that. It's all managed through the financial aid offices at our 15 community colleges. So I've gone over some of this already. The 25 years old as of the first day of classes, that's important. If someone turns 25 on September 17th and there's an October 1 start date at Bristol or Cape Cod or anywhere else, and they want to sign up for classes that start on October 1, they can do MassReconnect for that program. They don't have to wait until, the next year or the next semester or anything. Right? They just have to be 25 as of the first day of the classes that they're enrolled in. They have to have been a resident of the Commonwealth for at least 1 year as of the start of the enrolled term. And by resident, that means live here. That's it. Gotta live here. Not previously received an associate or bachelor's degree or the equivalent. So making sure that if you have an associate degree already, this program is not for you. This is for people who've not yet gotten to that level of education. Complete the free application for federal student aid or the FAFSA and enroll in at least 6 credits half-time and then meet what's called satisfactory academic progress, which basically means you need to show up and do the work and not just not do any of your work and stop showing up. We have students who do that, gets them in trouble with their federal financial aid. It's the same rules for MassReconnect. It's not a very high bar as a GPA to maintain your satisfactory academic progress. It's basically designed to make sure that you show up and try, and that's the bottom line. So that's MassReconnect, and essentially we are so proud where we are right now. Yesterday, you may have seen in the news because there was yesterday or the day before, the Board of Higher Education had a meeting where they announced the data for this fall. Massachusetts community colleges are up overall 8% in enrollment this year. And if we look at just our adult population, we're up even more. I think both Bristol and Cape Cod are seeing huge increases in the number of adult students who've come in this semester, and the interest for spring is even higher. And we hope that that you, if you're interested or eligible, or the people you know in your circles would consider doing the same thing, because MassReconnect has really been an absolute game changer for the community colleges and for the state to be able to say that it's now free. So let's transition for a second, if we can. Actually, before I do, let me just pause there, see if there's general questions on MassReconnect. Anything I didn't cover that may be in your head that you want to talk about.
I have just a quick
Of course.
question. So my daughter has 75 credits, but she doesn't have her degree, and she just signed back out for college. And I said, "Oh, wait till this is here tonight," because and she was all worried about the cost of school and blah blah blah. And then I see this, and I'm like, "Oh my God, like she could do this because she doesn't have her degree."
She never was awarded a degree.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to look to our admissions folks, but I'm pretty sure we'd say as long as she didn't get the degree.
She didn't get a degree.
Yep.
She's got 75 credits, so she's.
They're probably in a mishmash of different things here or there. Are they from a 4-year school?
One is from some's from Suffolk and one is UMass Amherst.
Okay. So the only thing I think would be important to think about is, so she would, then yes, she would definitely be eligible for MassReconnect. What she'd have to, in order to do MassReconnect, you can't just show up to take classes. You have to be in a degree or certificate program. So she'd have to identify what is the associate's degree that she wants,
Right.
and then that she wants to do for her career.
She
whatever
knows
that means. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to share what that is?
Psychology.
Okay, so if she wants to go into psychology, so she wants to get an associate's in psychology. So she would basically apply for admission into one of those programs. Our admissions teams would process her. She had to complete the FAFSA, and then they figure out what transfer credit she has from those other 2 schools that could be counted towards that associate in psychology, and then figure out whatever credits she needs to get remaining still to be able to get the associate degree, which I imagine there'd be at least some, most likely. And then at that point, unless all 75 were in psychology, and then that would be, she may already be eligible for an associate degree, but if they weren't, then they would work to see, okay, here's the classes you need to still get.
Right.
And she could get that and get the associate degree in psychology.
And with what you guys are doing, there would be someone to help her hold her hand through the process
Yes,
of going through this versus mom.
yes.
Great.
Yeah, that's-
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
Great.
And you know, we're very much, you know, that's exactly what we're there for. Filling out things like the FAFSA,
Yeah.
understanding transfer credits.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
very complicated.
Right.
And it's even complicated for people who've worked in higher education for a long time. And so we have people at our institutions who are experts in that and are absolutely there to try and make sure students have the supports they need. You know, and now granted, sometimes we try and reach out to students because mom or dad asked us to, and student never calls back and things like that. We run into those challenges, right? But and from our perspective, you know, especially a program like MassReconnect, students are adults, and so we want to make sure they're taking
There was
responsibility.
literally
You know,
just signed up yesterday and paid for a different college out of state, and I was like, I think you could be doing something here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, can we cancel?
Yeah. I mean, it depends what her goal is, right? And
Yeah.
so if it's to get a bachelor's in psychology, you know, she'd be able to get up to the level of associate degree and get that associate degree. And if it's at one of our colleges, our associates in psychology, I believe at Bristol and Cape Cod, I'm going to guess, are on the mass transfer pathway, which means that if she completed those and then transferred to any public four-year institution, so any of the UMass or the state universities,
Right.
with that associate degree, she's guaranteed to enter as a junior without needing to repeat any credits. That's what mass transfer is. Okay.
So your goal is to get an associate first and then move on.
Yeah, the community colleges provide associate degrees. That's up to the level we provide. You know, that we recognize there are a lot of industries where you need a bachelor's degree still. I would argue there's been quite a different look at the value of whether or not all industries need that. Even in nursing, for example, we're seeing quite a bit of shift in a lot more acceptance of the associate degree in nursing as the standard. And I think at a time when the return on investment in higher education in general is at a bit of a crossroads nationally, coming out of the pandemic, you know, a lot of folks questioning whether or not it's worth it or necessary. Our argument in the community college is maybe you don't need a four-year degree for everything, but you do need some post-secondary education. And that's where we fit in, and we provide opportunities to high-paying careers in a lot of industries. So, a question about
People with no green card be eligible for
people with no green card. Yeah, so I will cover that in tuition equity the next segment. Okay. Yes.
Similarly, so based on another country, might be equivalent to an associate degree or bachelor's. Can they still do this?
It depends on what it is and where it's from. What's the standard we use for that?
So, we usually ask them to get, we ask them to get it translated and evaluated by a translated into English and then evaluated by a translation company. We usually use one of three that are pretty quick. And then what we do is we would see where that lays. A lot of our students have bachelor's degrees from other countries. So what we would do is see what we transfer in. Can't transfer in the full degree, usually about a year worth of classes from another country, but it's definitely worth it. And I always say it's wonderful for them because they can put on their resume that they have the equivalent to a US degree on their resume. And I pretty much do it daily because that's my background is international admission. So I always love to talk to students from other countries if they have degree seeking, because that's what I've done for 24 years.
And most importantly for us is, you know, not only does just the college recognize it as a bachelor's degree, but does the workforce recognize it as a bachelor's? Because if not, it's not going to be valuable to them. Alex?
I think the flip side of that, and I'm just curious, we did make you ineligible for MassReconnect.
If it is considered an associate degree or a bachelor's degree here in the United States, yes, you would be ineligible, unfortunately, because it says in the law or equivalency. And that's the only equivalency is international degrees. But we have a lot of students who come to us with what is a bachelor's degree in another country, and it's absolutely not recognized as such here, right? I mean, we do have that depending on what country they're coming from, and what the equivalency is. So, you know, I wouldn't, just because someone says they have something that they got from an institution in another country, it's worth going through the process with the different companies.
We know many of the countries that we work with and how that works. So.
Okay, let's go on to tuition equity if we can. Tuition equity is another thing that gets signed into law this year in the state budget. And the new tuition equity law gives undocumented Massachusetts high school graduates access to in-state tuition rates at public colleges and universities in Massachusetts. It also makes these students eligible for state-funded student financial aid. So to the question about green cards, in order to be eligible for MassReconnect, as under the tuition equity law, someone either needs to be an in-state resident, meaning they qualify for in-state residency in our system. And if they do not, because they are an undocumented person, they need to have gone to a Massachusetts high school, and they must have attended that Massachusetts high school for 3 years. Must have attended a Massachusetts high school for 3 years. It doesn't have to be the same Massachusetts high school. It has to be a Massachusetts high school for at least 3 years, and they must have either received a high school diploma or a GED or high set in Massachusetts. If someone does all of those things and is undocumented, they are eligible to receive MassReconnect. They are eligible to receive MassGrant, which is a needs-based financial aid program, MassGrant Plus, which is another needs-based financial aid program, MassGrant Plus Expansion, which is a new needs-based financial aid program. All of these state financial aid programs, they are not eligible to receive federal Pell Grant money or any federal financial aid. But the state of Massachusetts says that they can get any state aid program. So if someone is over the age of 25 and they are undocumented, but they went to a Massachusetts high school for at least 3 years, and they either graduated or got their GED or high set, or they haven't yet and they want to get their GED or high set in Massachusetts, then they are eligible for MassReconnect under that circumstances. That doesn't necessarily cover everybody. I would point out that up until August of this year, Massachusetts was a state that had no recognition for this population, even though places like Texas and Arizona have had it for a long time. Places that have a much different political ideology than we do, that saw the value in this from a number of perspectives, which one of which is trying to ensure people have a pathway to get good paying jobs and pathway to citizenship too. And so we are so excited that this is a new program, and we're basically here to tell you tonight that this is something that we love your help in getting the word out about this for anyone who may be eligible here in the island who is interested in higher education. So if they're under 25, they may be eligible for a lot of state financial aid programs that are need-based, and the colleges would be able to help them look at that. If they're over 25, regardless of their financial situation, MassReconnect would pay their way as long as they take at least two classes at a time and don't have a degree. So we're very excited about the tuition equity. Questions on tuition equity before I turn it over? Yes.
If they're unable to fill out FAFSA, how?
It's a great question. Thank you. Yep. The state is developing, and it will be released, I believe, next week, what's called a FAFSA alternative, because undocumented students, as some of you may know, are not able to complete the FAFSA. It gets rejected. And so the state has hired a company, the State Department of Higher Education, to create basically mimic the FAFSA for the state of Massachusetts. So it asks for certain information about the folks. They then fill that out. It stays with the state, and the state uses it to be able to determine what financial need that family may have to be able to then match the specific need-based financial aid to that student at that institution. So that's a great question. I don't have a link for it or anything because it hasn't gone live yet, but it will be live by this coming spring semester. Yes.
That's also just really quickly add to that. I think that there's filling it out because it kind of puts yourself out there. There's fear in that. But because of like FERPA regulations, are not legally allowed to share any of that.
Yep, that's a great point. Yep, it's this is not something that is taken lightly. This is not connected to ICE or anything like that from the perspective of documentation. It is used to, just like for students who are citizens, there's a formula that is run to determine how much financial aid someone should get based on the money they have available to them in their lives. And so it's basically doing an apples to apples process through a different form, since those students cannot fill out the FAFSA. Is there another question? Yes.
I don't want to assume, but is there a payback? Like, you get this, you use this, you get your degree. Is there, you have to live in the state, you have to work for the state, you have to work for,
No, there is a requirement that a student sign an affidavit saying that they plan to apply to be a citizen. We don't enforce that, but they're technically signing under the pains and penalties of perjury that they understand that they need to, within, I think, 2 years or something,
No,
apply to be
even-
a citizen.
even if you're a citizen, even,
Yeah, no.
there's no, you know, you have to work for an institution of Massachusetts.
You mean under like MassReconnect?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Nope. I mean, we'd love for the people to stay here.
No,
It's
just
an
asking, I'm not
investment
going
from-
anywhere, but
yeah,
I don't know
it's,
about
you know,
anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, we have a problem as a state. We're losing young people in particular, and so I think, and so if you look at our trajectory of high school graduates, it goes down the next decade plus. I think a program like MassReconnect does two things. One is it hopefully encourages people to be able to stay here through education, to be able to get them jobs that allow them to afford to live in a place that's rather expensive as a state. I don't need to tell you that here, but it also, I think, tries to meet the needs of employers, knowing that the workforce is not going to be growing because of a booming amount of 18-year-olds coming out of high school in the next decade. So we have to look to upskill existing people who are here. Okay. I've taken more time than I thought I would, but this has been a really great discussion. I'm now going to turn it over to our friends from, first we're going to have Sheila Vaughn, who is the Director of Admissions for Cape Cod Community College. She's going to talk to you a bit about what's going on at Cape Cod. Oh, these are in the wrong order. Sorry.
You want
Go back.
Bristol first?
Nope, that's all right. Start there. There we go, Cape Cod.
Okay.
And then we'll go back.
Do you want to go first?
How long is yours?
10 minutes?
Right.
Are you sure? I don't mind. Okay.
Great.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks, Sheila.
I will talk about the tuition equity, but I do want to know that, that I've been working with the students. I'm actually the contact for our school for the tuition equity. And, we did have students this semester that did get to use it. And although they didn't get to have the state aid, they actually were able to get the in-state tuition, which is really great considering that it is twice the cost pretty much. So to get a class for $700 was pretty great. And it backdates now to the fall semester. So once this form comes out, hopefully they will get some aid, which is really great. It's not about just paying out of pocket. They might actually get some real aid, and doing 6 credits is really wonderful. So I'm Sheila Vaughn. I'm the Director of Admissions at 4Cs. That's what we call it, Cape Cod Community College. I took the boat over today. I was so excited to take the boat. I don't think I've been over here since I was in high school. So super excited to be here. I work with Deb Marr. If you know Deb Marr, she works over here in the high school with us, and she's been so wonderful. And as our camaraderie over here is one of our counselors. She's been with us for a while. And if you have questions on the island, Deb is amazing. She's been wanting to retire. We refuse to let her. But she's a wonderful resource for you if you do have some questions, and she'll get you in touch with us as well. But you know, 4Cs really is one of the 15 community colleges, as you I'm sure you know, 80 degrees and certificates. So really, you can't go wrong. Pretty much have everything you can think of for degree-seeking students. Most of our classes about 15 to 30 students. It depends. We don't have big, huge lecture halls. So like those traditional colleges where you go look, there's no like 200 student lecture halls at our school. So it's really great. We're a public nonprofit. Obviously, I don't have to get into that. So we are one of the 15 community colleges. But what I love about this is that, you know, you live on the island, and I get that. And so we are, you know, not too far away once you get off the island. We're about 40 minutes in that direction, right off of right in Barnstable, West Barnstable area. So you can take the ferry to Hyannis, and we do have students that do physically come to the campus, but we do have a lot of options for students called High Flex and online, really great options. And we do have 5 fully online degrees. You know, online can mean very many different things. Fully online can mean that you're doing it on your own time. So it really means that it's what we call asynchronous in our higher ed spiel, which means that you do it at a time that is convenient to you. Usually your work is due at the end of the week, and so you log in, and the teacher's telling you what you need, the professor's telling you what to do, and then you can't really get to the professor, at 2 a.m, but you can also email them and get to them. I like to say to a lot of my students that, you might be up at 2 o'clock in the morning doing it, but probably your professor is not. But it's really great for students to think about that. We also have, on the next slide, I'll tell you about HighFlex, which is a mix of in-person and online. But what I love is that you get that business degree. General studies is kind of what we consider in liberal arts, kind of like that undecided student. I don't know if you know, but English comp at 4Cs is the same as English comp at like Bridgewater State, and it costs you like a quarter of the cost. So those general education courses are really great to get going. If you want to do them with us and then transfer to a four-year institution or go off and get your associate's degree with us, really great option for students, especially. And we do dual enrollment as well. I didn't have a lot of slides on that, but dual enrollment is great to get started on that as well. So you can take your English or your psychology while you're in high school too. So we work a lot on the island with that as well. But psychology, so hello, Mom. The psychology can be fully done online
I'm texting
too.
my daughter.
Yes.
Please come up here.
Yes, so the psychology, the liberal arts, and history. So it's really great. So if she didn't want to leave the island and wanted to stay on, she could complete a degree fully online with us. And we have a lot of amazing different courses. It's a little small, I'm so sorry, but we do have that live and in person, so you can physically come in and say hello if you'd like to. Our classes really range, like you say, like they start at 8 a.m. for that really early riser. And then we have those classes that go at 6:30 to 9:30, usually one day a week. You can go at night and you can get that class done. Usually they're 3 hours at a time. So really great. Usually it's 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday. Don't do a lot of Fridays at our school. We don't really have a Friday schedule. We realized early on that Fridays are not the best day to have college, but we really have that really great option. We have what's called D10 technology, which means that you can be on Zoom or you can be in person, and the teacher is actually teaching you from the classroom, but you can be on the Zoom. So really it is an online option for students, and you can pick to come to campus or you can actually be on the Zoom. And really almost all of our classes are like that. We also have, as you were talking about, the equity in having textbook costs and being able to afford college. We actually have our textbooks on our campus. It says no textbook fees or low textbook fees, because it really is important for us to understand that students, don't have that kind of money. And so really having that MassReconnect with the books is really great. But we try to keep our textbook costs down as well. If you can't afford food, then you really, can't afford textbooks. So we get that as well. And we do have a great wellness office. We've really spent a lot of time on that at our school, working with students who have food insecurities, transportation issues. We try to do that up front. We really walk you through what we can. So I love this slide because it's like, where do you want to go? So we have many, many options for you. We have our aviation maintenance program in Plymouth that you can be an aviation mechanic, and you can really do that. And you're making $70,000 a year with a 2-year degree. We have a funeral service program that is at Bridgewater State. Those two programs, you can live at Bridgewater State and actually and go to school, and we shuttle you to the Plymouth campus. But the funeral service program is right there at Bridgewater, which is really great. So there are many options for students to be able to get right into a career. Many certificates, like Nate was saying, there's great certificate options to either stack those credentials. I say for a student who wants to be a nurse, go be an EMT, go get your CNA. We do an LPN to RN program as well. That credit for prior learning, if you're an LPN and you want to go for your RN, we will transfer in that first year of classes. You do have prerequisite courses you need to take, but you've pretty much done with your first year of nursing, which is really wonderful. And there is we didn't talk about it right now, but there is a nursing scholarship as well that I've talked about that I'm happy to chat with you about after you have questions. But go into that bachelor's degree without lots of debt. I was talking about the Eisenberg School because that's where most of my students love to go to, which is the business school of UMass Amherst. Maybe they didn't do so well in high school, or it wasn't affordable, or that there was so many students, but we kind of back end into that school after those 2 years, and we have many students that are graduating from there in that 4 years. And that same student that is walking down that graduation, the same 4 years, they've exponentially cut their costs in half because they haven't had to spend that kind of money to take the same courses that they would take no matter what. So English, history, math, those sciences, those can be taken at our school in a quarter of the cost. And they can be taken online, or they can be taken in person or high flex. So really great options for students, especially on the island. And what we love about this is I have some slides. Well, talk about the mass transfer and the Commonwealth commitment. Let's say you really want to go to Bridgewater State and you've made that commitment to want to go there. We can, have that commitment for you to go there, and you take those 60 credits with you. So it really is great. You're starting as a junior. Well, for some students, they're a little bit more mature. Let's say you're coming from high school, you might be a little bit more mature then. Get some great housing, go over there and get some great housing. And you're able to really cut those costs. And I like to say, and I was talking to somebody tonight, I think it was criminal justice or, in some of those service fields, if you're going to get $200,000 in debt, and you're going to be a police officer, when are you going to pay those loans back? Paying $500 a month in student loans while you're trying to get off, get into the academy and getting right in there. You're not going to get, you're not going to go right up there and start doing details, the first year in. So those are things that I talk about with students in their life plan and make sure that they understand, what they can do. And that 4 Cs is an option. And I think that community college really now more than ever with these amazing programs is much more affordable than anybody would have ever thought before. There's really great options with the Mass grants, and the financial aid has always been a little scary, I think, for people to go, I'm never going to be able to get financial aid. I make too much, or I won't get it. And now, it really isn't like that. There's so many options for students, they never realized they could get it. So I would say apply and see what happens. That's what's really important. What I love about our school is that it doesn't cost you anything. You literally just can apply. I say, if you're breathing, you can come. That's my angel. You have to just get your GED, high set, or graduate from high school, and we'll walk you through the path. You can have a 1.0 or a 4.0. It really doesn't matter. You can be 16, you can be 80. I've seen it all. And I think that's really great because we can help anybody with that path. So it's really a path to your degree and what you want to do for your life. Maybe it's your first career, maybe it's a 15th career, and you just want to restart. That's awesome. Like, let's go. Like, we're going to sit down with you. We're going to talk it out. We're going to figure out what you want to do. Those stops and starts are things that we see every day. Those students that just haven't figured it out yet. That's great. That's what we love, because, we want to get that restart again or figuring that out. I have a high school junior myself. We're looking at schools. I'm like, come on, mommy works here. That's where you want to go. And it's free. We don't have SATs or ACTs. We don't have an application fee. There's no essays. There's no, I say to students all the time, we don't look at that. You got to graduate. That's it. But if you have a 2.7 GPA, you don't have to take a placement test for English. So there you go. Isn't that great? But it really is wonderful. And we work very closely with the high schools to make sure that we understand that as well. But, the FAFSA, I just like to say that the FAFSA really is not as scary as you think it is. We will help you. We'll walk you through it. Our financial aid office does have a Zoom that's open every day. They will help you do your ID number. They will help you walk you through what if you have questions. And that's what I love about that, because we're really hopeful that the new FAFSA will be coming out very soon, hopefully. And for the spring, it's already open, but for the fall, it's coming out. But if you have questions, just reach out to us. We handhold. I love it. I will take both hands and hold your hand. And that's what we need, because, it is really tough nowadays to understand it. The school counselors are overrun. They're so busy. They have so much going on. We're happy to help you, to walk you through the process of how to go to college again, or just for the first time. So, and like we say, it's not bad. The tuition and fees is not too bad at all. You can go full-time or you can go part-time, but you're looking at less than $13,000 to get a degree. And you're going to think about that as you're going towards getting that bachelor's if you want to. You're saving so much money to be able to have that in mind. So I know for my poor, we had to get going. So that's it. So these are the new initiatives. I put them on, but you already talked about them. So I just want to talk about the nursing one real fast. Is that if anybody's looking to be a nurse, because I work so much with the nursing here, I'm called the guru at 4 Cs about nursing. is that there is a nursing scholarship that if you get accepted to the nursing program, and it has the same requirement as MassReconnect, except for you don't have to be 25, but you do have to not have a degree yet, but you would get the same eligibility, but you could get free nursing here in Massachusetts, which is
And that's
pretty
right
awesome.
out of high school.
Right out of high school. Yeah, I have actually been speaking to a lot of students that have decided that maybe, not going to the 4-year school. My daughter's looking at nursing, so it's SATs, ACTs, it's math and science grades. It's a lot. It's a lot to do that. And, we don't look at anything from high school. We look at 6 prerequisite courses that you need to take to get into our program. So there's 3 sciences and 3 general education classes. And what happens is we do a pre-nursing focus or pre-dental focus for dental to get them to go into the program. And so it's wonderful. Once they get accepted to the program, it's free.
You're saying that to get into that nursing program, they just do the first year?
First year. Yes. So they take, they take biology A&P 1 and 2, English 1 and 2, and psych. But it's wonderful because you're pretty much getting 2 years of a nursing education for free, and then you do your RN to BSN. So it's really great. So we have 18 students that actually are doing this right now from our school. So, and it's eligible before.
Yeah, and we're still working with the Department of Higher Ed on some of the details on the free nursing program. But one of the things we're working towards is that all pre-nursing students can go for free too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I'm happy to chat about it afterwards. I know that we have.
I see one question in the back.
So the science classes are 5 years, but the other courses are not. So the biology, A&P 1 and 2 need to be 5 years in the program. But if you did your English and don't. So if you want, take my card. I ask you to send me a transcript and we can talk one-on-one. I do Zoom calls for half an hour every single day, many times a day. Talk about it. So I'm happy to chat with you one-on-one about it. Okay, I'll give you my. No problem.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you.
We're gonna dive right into Bristol Community College and hear about what they're offering there. And then we'll wrap up. We're gonna be a little over time. I apologize. Appreciate everyone's indulgence. And then what we'll do is at the end, we'll wrap up. And then if folks want to stick around, if there's questions afterwards, we're happy to take those as well. Any of the folks from the colleges individually or about any of the broader programs I can take as well. So happy to introduce Team Vinny Reagan.
Thank you so much, Nate. Free seems to be the theme, right? Feel like opera, free car for you, free car. Now, we are just here to make sure that you understand community colleges are here to provide you with accessible and affordable education. Okay, I'm not going to talk about all the programs that Bristol offers. For that, we have our fabulous Mary from Bristol. She's going to talk about that. I'm specifically here to talk about a very unique program that we are running in collaboration with ACE MV. Okay, so Bristol and ACE MV, we co-wrote this federal grant. Okay, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this grant, but before we applied for this grant, there was a survey that was distributed. Did I introduce myself, by the way? My name is Vinny Reggae. I'm the Dean of School of Business at Bristol Community College. Sometimes I just get excited about all this. So there was a survey that was distributed by ACE MV to sort of like get the pulse in terms of like, what are the programs that students want to take as a preferred choice of higher education. There were 2 programs that came into the limelight. One was entrepreneurship, and the second one was computer programming. So we basically took those 2 programs and put them in the grant. So it's a federal Department of Education grant. We received $1 million. So what that $1 million is basically allowing us to do is we are going to offer free, told you, theme, free. All the entire certificate program that we have in entrepreneurship, as well as in computer programming for 15 students in entrepreneurship and 15 students in computer programming. So this entire program is exclusively for 30 students, okay? So as I said, entrepreneurship and computer programming. Both these certificate programs are offered, but they will not be offered at the same time. They all are stacked one after the other. So entrepreneurship program will start this coming January, and we are already accepting applications for that. We have already received applications for that. There are only 15 seats available, and I'm dead sure there are going to be a lot of applications that we are going to get. And when we go through the program, we are going to select students. You have to really make a good sort of like case why you want to get into this program. Everything is paid for, by the way. All your courses will be paid for, regardless whether you qualify for MassReconnect or not, whether you are 25 plus or not, everything is free for you. All your books, materials, and supplies are free as well. Okay. Modality. Sheila just spoke about all the modalities that exist at Cape Cod. We have something similar at Bristol as well. The modality for this program is going to be online asynchronous. What do I mean by online asynchronous? Everything is going to be on our Blackboard shell, which is our learning management system, and all the instruction happens remotely. You basically learn the concept whenever you have time. One of the coolest things about this thing is like, we are not going to leave you high and dry. There is going to be that dedicated wraparound services. What do I mean by wraparound services? There's going to be a dedicated advisor who is going to be behind you every step of the way. There is going to be a grant coordinator. There are going to be tutors that are going to be working with you all the way through. And we will make sure that you actually complete all the requirements of this certificate program successfully. That's going to be key. So one thing I'll tell you is like, this is not going to be an a la carte. You know what a la carte is, by the way? When you go to the restaurant, you get the menu and you select one item, 2 items. It's not going to be like that. You're not going to select one course or 2 courses from the menu, from our curriculum. You have to complete the entire certificate program. So what kind of students do we need? We actually need students who are committed to completing this entire certificate program. We want students who actually are going to use the skills, knowledge, and competencies that they're going to get through this program in the future, whatever your goals might be. We want those students that are really committed to make the best use of all the content that they're going to get. What can students expect? That's one of the things that I told you, which is like they'll get free laptops, materials and supplies. They actually will get all that dedicated support. Not only that, there is going to be a sort of like a cohort system where we will bring students together, maybe like once a month or so, and ACE MV will facilitate that. And there are going to be study sessions that will be conducted. And we are going to make all the tutors available during that time so that if there are any questions, they can be answered right then and there. I've seen like many times where students do not ask questions and many of those questions go unanswered, and that reflects in their grades. So we actually will make sure that all your questions are answered, and we will set you up for success. Now, how to proceed? There is going to be a link that ACE MV will send you guys, more or less likely, very soon. And it's basically a student interest form. If you are interested in this program, all you basically have to do is complete this student interest form, and we will get
Just go to acemv.org. It's right on our
acemv.org. Submit your application, and that's it. And then all you basically have to do is like cross your fingers and hear back from ACE MV, whether you got selected or not. And once you get selected, then Bristol will come and take over, and then we will make sure that you get into the system. You get all the materials and supplies, and you should be all set to go. Any questions about this program? And of course, there's going to be computer programming that will start in August 2025. So as you can imagine, students will complete the entrepreneurship certificate first. Those students will graduate and go, and we'll get another set of 15 students that are interested in computer programming, and then they will complete that program. We didn't want to mesh both programs at the same time because we really want to focus on each student individually, one cohort at a time. You had a question? So 3 semesters for entrepreneurship. So we will start in the spring of 2024. Second semester is going to be fall of 2024, and you will graduate in spring of 2025. The computer programming will begin in fall of 2025, And the last semester, that's only 2 semesters, and they will graduate in spring of 2026. Does that answer your question? Any other questions? Free. All right. And now, there it is. I got it. All right. So within School of Business, of course, we have like almost 30 odd programs. Besides taking care of all the 30 programs, I also oversee about 3 academic centers on campus. One of the centers that I manage is our Center for Credit for Prior Learning. And Nate spoke about that, as well as Sheila spoke about that. Credit for prior learning is basically if you have experience in a particular field, okay, life experience, we actually will give you credit for certain number of courses. But if you come to me and tell me like, you know what, have worked in the marketing sector, marketing industry or marketing department for about 10 years, and I need credit for this marketing course. Well, it doesn't work like that. You have to show that you have gained enough knowledge and skills in that area. You know enough about marketing in order for me to give you credit for those marketing courses. So there are 3 ways you actually can get those CPLs, predominantly 3 ways. So the first thing is what we call it as credit by credential. So there are many associations, many industry, they offer certificates, okay, industry certificates. Or for that matter, Sheila and Nate just spoke about the CNA program. That is a credential. You can use that credential and you can get credit for certain number of courses at Bristol. So there is actually an equivalency table. And as long as like your credential that you have gotten translates into certain number of courses, you can get credits for those courses. Almost 70% of our CPL applications come through credentials, just FYI. Now, credit by exam, that's CBX, that's another thing. If you have experience in certain industry, we will give you challenge exam. You pass that exam, you get the credit for those courses. Next one is portfolio. This works really good for those professions that are artsy, like for example, culinary arts or sculpture or something along that line, photography. You create a portfolio. Our faculty members will evaluate that portfolio. And if that's good enough to offer you credit, you get credit for those courses. Okay. Now, benefits of CPL, many people, many students that get credits through CPL, they actually tend to graduate faster, and there is more success rate with those folks that get CPL. You actually save money and time, and there is a lot of benefits to that. So that's something that you actually might want to consider. That actually is up my time. Do you have any questions? And that's our email address and phone number to get more information about CPL.
Was this only the thing that's partnered with ACE MV?
ACE MV was the previous program that actually I was talking about. Those 2, entrepreneurship and computer programming certificate. So both these courses actually are offered in an online asynchronous modality. So there is really no need for students to go aside from regular. Mary can answer that question, but I'm not too sure if there is actually a transportation offered by Bristol to allow students to come to Bristol. So.
I have a question, but I think it'll be more general.
Sure. And I'm going to give my contact information. I'm going to leave my contact information with Mary. So feel free to send me an email or call me anytime, and I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Okay. Have a good night.
Thank you.
What was the question that Mary could answer? I couldn't hear it over there.
I feel like mine's a more general question. I don't know if it like I did go to college for a semester and I've been working now and I wanted to start again. I've been trying to transfer to colleges, but I don't have enough credits. So I don't have enough credits to transfer for most colleges.
Okay.
And I'd like to get started again. I was thinking maybe this would be a good way to start.
Right.
Get my gen ed.
So some of the 4 years do require you to have some credits before you transfer. Community college, it doesn't.
So it doesn't, but obviously not all my credits are gonna transfer for
Correct.
years, right?
Yeah, so it's like C- and above,
Oh, yeah,
and you can transfer in 60 credits. That's always confusing for people though, because you still have to fulfill the curriculum. So even though an associate's degree is usually around 60 credits, you could have gotten 70 credits from someplace else. You could still, we're gonna pick the right ones. You're still gonna get 60 credits, but not all of them are going to apply to your degree. And
yeah,
I think you have to be a little shaky on this. 35% of it you have to do
Yeah.
at the community college. Okay, oh, I did get it right.
yeah, so I can't just like transfer in, take 2 classes and then transfer to a different college.
You could do that, yes.
But like, it's just, the whole thing is so confusing.
Yeah,
You have
and
to
it's
be like-
beneficial though.
Maybe I suggest, I think this, like, we'd be very happy to help you right afterwards, if you can stick around for a few minutes,
Yeah.
are you able to?
Yeah.
Cause then we can, I think between the two admissions folks, they can talk to you about your circumstances and see. But I wanna see if we can make sure we get through that, and some of it might be answered in what Mary goes through for Bristol.
So I'm not gonna repeat everything that it was said tonight, that I've taken my talking points. And just also Cape Cod Community College and Bristol Community College systemically really run the same way too. So I don't want to repeat everything that you've heard that we offer too. But we have 5 locations. Oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Mary Buba. I work at Bristol Community College. I work at the Fall River campus. I've been working for colleges in years, but I started at a community college because I did not know what I wanted to study as an adult. And it took me 7 years to get my bachelor's degree. I was on the 2 class per semester all the way through, straight through summers. I used to be ashamed of that fact. I worked at a community college. I'm like, wait a minute. Does take you a little while. Some people just have to go really slowly through, but if I could get through, then you can get through too. So we're in Fall River, we're in Attleboro, we're in New Bedford, we're in Taunton, and we're online. And I'm really going to concentrate on the online part tonight because you guys, we're a little farther away from getting to us. And I'm going to skip some of these. So we do have 120 degrees and certificates. Oh, he did get this one. Okay. You can do these ones 100% online. Business, communication, general management, computer information, general studies career. So that's really what it is, general studies. If you don't know what you want to take in college, you could general studies leaning towards educational studies, general studies leaning towards legal and social studies, liberal arts and psychology transfer. So also when you're talking about the transferring into the 4-year, a lot of 4-year programs have online colleges too. So you could actually take your online program and transfer it into a 4-year program as well. So we also have certificates that are 100% online, computer programming, cybersecurity, deaf studies, prep, and law enforcement. And then these ones are hybrid. And I want to point out, most of them are hybrid because there's a capstone or there's something that you have to do in person. They will work with you. So in other words, paralegal and legal studies is almost 100% online, except at the end when you have to, get some experiential education in that. And then criminal justice is the same way too. It's a internship that you have to do in the end. They will work with you. Sometimes internships can be done where you live too. So it's not like you have to travel up to New Bedford or Fall River. So, and the hybrid also, they have, they were talking asynchronous, like here's your program, here's your, these are the things you have to read, these are the tests you have to take. And some of them are synchronous, and that could mean like meeting every Tuesday on Zoom or something like that. But it's meant to help people that are working and actually can't get to the college. And these are the hybrid certificate options as well. I'm not going to read them all off here. Everything's online. Skip that one. Okay, so we are part of the mass transfer. She already talked about it. It's a great program, and like I said, if you're on the island and you're taking online classes, so some of the state and UMass colleges also offer online as well. Application's really easy too. There's no fee. You don't need an SAT. You do not need to write an essay. So it's different than coming out of high school and transferring into the 4-year. It's a lot easier. We are affordable. We have payment plans, but everything is free now. So most people aren't going to be doing the payment plans. this is, I want to concentrate on this too. So we have student support services. So there's career services. They'll help you with the essay. They have, you can practice doing an interview, get your nerves out that way. Transfer office means you transfer out. So they'll help you make those decisions where you're going to go and get that paperwork together. Academic advising, they help you find online classes. They're the ones that help you register. Office of Disability, if you've had, if you're in high school and you've had an IEP or a 504, colleges don't have that, but they have similar services. So they will help you with that too. We have tutoring and academic support, counseling. All of these are also offered online too. So I will mention too, so because MassReconnect started this semester, a lot of adults over 25 came to our college, and we just started to recognize what were their needs, and a lot of them were technological too. So this is what we're concentrating on as we go forward. Help with that, extra seminars, and just some help with that too. We also have support service. So you basically have, it's almost like having a guidance counselor on campus. You meet with them once a week, you check in, they work out time plans, like time management plans for you. But really, it's a big college. It's over 6,000 students. But even my job, it's very personal. It's very one-on-one. I am your guidance counselor. I'm the person that's going to help you apply, answer your questions, also hand you off. Actually, you need to talk to an academic advisor right now. And I'll either come in and introduce you or send the email, and I'll BCC you so that you are connected then. So I'm the person that will help you get to the next step too. And our application is very easy. It's very simple. When you're filling out an application, you're telling us which major you want to study, where you went to high school, you're putting that in, and if you've gone to college before, where you've gone to college. And it's up to you to get us the transcripts. And then when we get the college transcripts, we do the assessment of them. We have online virtual orientation. Academic advising is online. And you can also do the placement testing in your home. We have a program that you can do that. So I rushed through. Okay, but I didn't want to repeat to you everything they said. But my name's Mary Buba, and if you're thinking about coming to Bristol, please contact me directly. I have my card in.
If we could give a round of applause, please, for Mary and Sheila and Vinny. Thank you so much. We are happy. Thank you for indulging us a little extra time. We went over, apologize about that, but the questions were really great. We're happy to stick around, talk to anybody individually. If you have individual questions you want to talk through, we'll happily do that. If it's Cape Cod specific, please talk to Sheila. If it's Bristol specific, please talk to Mary. If you're not sure, talk to me. I can help you with that. So
you can make appointments virtually for Meet the Admissions Counselors.
exactly.
Under Meet the Admissions Counselors, you can see me, pictures of me and my team, and we do Zoom meetings every day for half an hour, and we will sit down, we'll chat with you. I mean, we can physically see you, but you know what I mean. But it's really great. We have late night hours too, so if you can't get it during the day, we're happy to meet with you after hours so that you can. I know everybody works, so we do a couple nights a week. We'll meet you after hours too. So, but you know, sometimes it's hard to talk in a group. So I really, you know, it's fine to talk one-on-one if you want to take a Zoom and take my card. Happy to meet with you, chat about your own personal experiences. I always say it's me. I went to school. It's hard to talk about that in front of people. So I feel fine with that.
Yeah. So
Thank
please feel free to stick around for a bit. We're here just to talk to you on the island about what the community colleges offer and the services we provide. I think coming out of the pandemic, our colleges are even more accessible to you on the island because of the technology we've invested in and because of the distance opportunities. And so that makes it even easier to take advantage of the services. You combine that with a lot of new funding for free community college for adults. On the horizon, maybe free community college for everybody. The Senate president has said that's a priority of hers. So we may be back here next year. I can't tell you for sure, but talking about the fact that it's just free for everyone. And that would be incredible if we can get to that place. But for now, we're thrilled to be talking about MassReconnect, tuition equity, and the program we offer. So thank you so much for coming, and hope you have a great night. Thank you.
Yeah.